is your daily business tech boost with me, Charlie Leetham. G'day, guys. We're going to be talking about email subject line testing and the importance of it and why it's important and the things that you need to consider. Topic number 327 today, in case you're keeping count. The thing that I want to highlight most with all of this is that what I'm talking about here is being able to make data-driven decisions. So using A/B testing to check and work out what subject lines are working best for you. I'm not going to go out on a limb here. I'm not going to say, hey, you can get the best email subject lines you will ever get. You're going to be able to create these things that make people want to click and want to buy. What I'm going to say is that by testing and by doing and using data-driven decisions, you're going to be able to improve your subject lines, hopefully by 1% each time, and that 1% will compound over time. Why do we want to get this data to make these decisions? What is it that we're going to get out of it? Well, the most important thing that we're going to get out of this is improving our open rates on our emails. How many times do you look in your inbox, look at the subject lines and go, I can't be bothered. These have not grabbed me. I don't know what they're about. I can't guarantee they're worth my time. I'm not going to open them. How many of our emails that we send out get caught like that? A few, I'm sure. I'm absolutely certain. So the idea of testing our email subject lines using A/B testing and a couple of the other methods I'm going to talk about here, it's going to help us improve our open rates, which will then hopefully improve our click-through rates and our engagement rates. It's also going to help us understand our audience preferences better. So experimenting with different styles of subject lines when you're doing your A/B testing. Maybe you're going to ask a question on one subject line. Maybe you're going to put emojis in another subject line. Maybe you're going to run those two together. Test A is a question. Test B is emojis. See how they run. Maybe you're going to test something that's got personalization in it. Maybe the next test you run is, does it have personalization and emojis? See what works best for your audience type. See what your audience prefers and responds to. It's important also to test your subject lines during different seasons and holidays. So it's not just enough to say, okay, so these emails work well most of the year. When we get down to Christmas, when we get down to Easter or Veterans Day or whatever the holiday is, sometimes you need a different email, you need a different subject line. You need it to be structured slightly different to connect with your audience at that time of year. So it's also important when you're coming up to other times of year that you are testing your headlines, you know what those results are. The last thing that I want to talk about in terms of what you need to consider when you're testing your email subject lines is making sure that you're optimizing these subject lines for your mobile devices. Because subject lines on mobile devices are different lengths, what you can see of a subject line is a different length, really important to see how the conversion rates are working when people are opening them on their mobile, what they look like on mobiles as well. So make sure when you're doing all of this testing that you've got in the back of your mind that you've also got to consider that a mobile device has got a very little, or a portable device has got a very little, much less space. That's a better way of putting it. To display the subject line, and that you're optimizing for that. So you're not only just testing to see how it works in general, you're also testing to see how it works and performs on different devices. Finally, so I spoke about finally, the last thing I was going to talk about, what you need to consider with your email when you're doing the testing. Finally, make sure you are doing this regularly. Make sure this testing is conducted regularly throughout the year. I'm not saying you should always be testing your email subject lines, although you should be monitoring your statistics and seeing what is working and what isn't working. I would actually set aside time in every campaign to do some testing and say, let's do some testing on subject line. Let's see what this type of subject line does versus this type of subject line. Make sure you do this continuously, not all the time, but regularly, so that you can refine your strategy and keep up with your changing audience preferences, because preferences do change over time. Might be time of the year, and it might just be over time in general. Do you guys test your subject lines? What sorts of things do you test? How do you test it? What sort of insights have you gathered from it if you've done it at all? I would absolutely love to know. Please leave comments wherever you are watching or listening to this video. You can, if you can, sorry, you can. If you can, please subscribe to this video. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, ring the notification bell so you find out when we drop more content. You can send me a DM on any of our social media channels and I will respond, or you can come and join us on our locals community, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. Join the conversation there. I'd love to have you. Tomorrow we are going to be talking about promoting webinars and online events with our email. We are coming to the end of our email subjects here. Just mopping up a few little subjects and then we'll move on to something else. But tomorrow we're going to be talking about webinars and online events and using email to promote them. Apart from that, I want you guys to have a great day and a very successful business day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.